talked about healthcare reform off and on since Harry Truman was president of the United States. 15 years ago, an effort was made to try to get healthcare reform. Tremendous pushback. And today, the same thing. There is a lot of conflicting things going on out there, and I don't blame people for being angry, and I don't blame people for being confused, because I am. It's very difficult for a member of Congress to come here and say, I couldn't tell you what the Senate's doing, but I can't. So, irregardless of what comes out of the House if this bill passes, it's going to be different because we're going to go into what's called a conference committee. And I wish I could sit here today and tell you what I think that would be. But let me tell you some of the myths and then close. There was a proposal by the other side of the aisle, I'm not being partisan, but during the hearing, to take the VA and move it into this. Over my dead body, the VA has just received an increase under our budget, the highest in the 70-year history of the VA. I am not going to put clinics like the one in Quincy and the Iowa City Hospital and others and put the VA and mold it into this, because quite candidly, while the VA is not a perfect entity, you take a look at the veterans that use these clinics and ask them what they think of the care they're getting. And it's very, very good by and large. No, not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but by and large, we owe our veterans everything, from my perspective, and to remotely even consider it. I told one of the members from Georgia who proposed that, I said, well, I'd like you to come to my district and go to a few legions of VIDs with me and talk about that, and when you do, I'd like you to wear your goalie outfit, because you're going to need it. Because I don't think the veterans in my district are going to be really happy about having their health care melted in. The last thing I just want to emphasize to all of you, the speed of this that we keep hearing about. We are in a crisis. I went to the floor of the House of Representatives when the other side was doing what's called 1 minute, and they had charts up, and I couldn't understand it, and they knew that nobody could, and it was really basically done to make sure everybody got thoroughly confused on it. Mission accomplished. But I went to the floor and said, look, I opened up a piece of paper and I said, I don't have a chart. I have a piece of paper with some figures, and let me just give them to you. And then I said, then I'll go back to my office. I said, well, and some of them were thinking this was funny. And I said, we're going to go home for about 37 days on a break. We're going to have town hall meetings. I'm going to have them. I'm going to get hollered at. Everybody gets hollered at, goes with the turf. But I will tell you, during the day, in every congressional district in this country, 435 congressional districts in this country, every day that we are in recess, 35 people in my district are going to die because they don't have health care. 1,190 people are going to lose their health care. 910 people are going to have to file for medical bankruptcy if we don't pass this bill. 82,000 people, if we can insure them, will be insured in my district. Now, I realize that this is a contentious issue, but I believe that people, whether they vote for you or not, and I said this at every town hall meeting, and you know, that's what elections are about. But I can promise you this, I won't vote for a bill that taxes your health care benefits. I'm not going to vote for a bill that has a government takeover of your insurance plan. I'm not going to vote for a bill that would move the VA into the regular health care system, because I think that would be a drastic mistake. But I'm not going to vote for a bill that will not remove pre-existing conditions, that won't make competition for the insurance companies. I think it's unconscionable when that woman lost $118,000 from the company whose CEO makes $200,000 a day. I think there's something drastically wrong, and I don't think it's asking too much for our insurance companies to live up to the promise that they make. And that's why I support this bill. And so I hope that you don't have to like the bill, but I will tell you, I can't sit back and do nothing, because we're really, whether you want to believe the numbers or don't believe the numbers, this is going on in this nation every day, and this is a classic example of a good, decent man who worked all of his life and lost his house and is living in a trailer.